Hi, I'm Willow.
I'm Lee.
This is our van cat, Amy.
Behind us is Ruby, our 1976 Late Bay VW.
You're making me cry because I don't want this out.
Welcome to our tiny home!
Welcome to our tiny home. We handcrafted our entire interior. We wanted the inside of Ruby to feel cosy, and we're definitely happy with the final results. As you can see, we have a pop top fitted. We don't have the standard tim top roof that the van came with. We wanted some space to stand up while we cook, and we also sleep in our roof, which gives us way more space than if we slept on the rock and roll bed like was intended.
I think one of our favourite investments is this Wallace diesel heater and cooker top. It's rated for altitudes up to 4,000 in normal mode. It also possesses a high altitude mode up to 10,000 feet. Now, we've been at some pretty big volcanoes and we know that it is able to work at about 12,000 feet. It does have a few issues when it gets that high, but overall we're pretty impressed with it. It's nice to be able to cook properly on 2 hobs. It's got a thermostat control, so it controls the temperature. Overall, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay, this is our main control panel for the interior electrics, so that's everything you need to camp with for Ruby. So we've got, this controls our lights. This is our battery monitor for our lithium batteries and solar. This just controls the fridge, the cooker, the water pump, that kind of thing, and it's where we charge stuff. We have our inverter at the bottom, and the controller here is just a switch so it's easier to reach, and these sockets that only work when we're on hookup or with the generator running. And this is just the immobiliser for the Subaru, so if we take this out it's just extra security, and it means that you can't turn the engine on. So that's basically it. For our electrical system, we have 3 lithium batteries on board. We have 3 Victron 60 amp hour batteries in the bottom of this cupboard here, with our battery to battery charger, and then on the roof we have a 400 watt solar panel.
Right, so in here we have our poop box. It's a Nature's Head composting toilet that we somehow managed to squeeze into our interior space. It also is quite good as a chair. It's quite useful when you're in a big city and can't find a toilet, or if the weather is absolutely horrendous outside and you don't want to get wet going for a quick wee or a poo. So to finish the van tour, we thought we'd do a quick question and answer with some of the questions we get asked all the time on the road. We're going to pick them out of a cup and try and answer them as genuinely as possible. So question 1. Best thing about van life?
It's hard to pick one thing, but I would say the flexibility of it. You can go somewhere and if you don't like it you can just leave straight away, but if you love it you can stay as long as you want. So you have so much choice with how you do it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think the best thing for me is meeting new people. We've met so many cool people in America and in Baja and in mainland. So many different types of characters. Complete strangers at the time, and like some of them are now considered some of my best friends.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, definitely people we meet on the road. You pick this one.
We have most essential item.
Tricky.
My plants.
Yeah.
No, not my plants.
You can answer however you want.
I'm gonna say the Wallace, because we couldn't live without heating and a cooker, and to get them both in such a tiny little space is pretty unusual, so that's definitely a must have. I don't know if you're going to pick the other one I was going to say.
I would say, as we showed earlier, the Nature's Head toilet.
No, I was going to say the toilet, because I couldn't pick between the two.
Yeah, there's been so many times where I've been in desperate need of a quick toilet trip and it hasn't been practical, but we just draw the curtains on the middle of a road and
it's when you
do our
wake up
business.
at like 4 AM and you really need the loo and it's freezing, you're like, I don't want to go outside, and no.
Yeah, it's hard to choose. I mean, our electric system's close behind, and our Dometic Fridge has been a pretty good buy, but yeah, I think definitely...
if you took those away from me, I would be really,
yeah, the Wallace
really
in the
sad.
toilet would be difficult. Right, you ready for the third question? Why a VW?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah?
Yeah. because then you get to be part of the VW community, and that is a crazy thing to be involved in. It's amazing what people will do for you just because you own a VW and nothing else. So they don't even know you, and they will give you their home and
go out their way to
give
make
you
it comfortable.
free windscreens, and yeah, they will just go way out of their way because of it.
We didn't know about the VW community when we bought it. What made you originally want a VW?
You wanted it.
Me, I
Well,
did.
that's true.
No, I did. I definitely wanted it. For me, I don't think we ever considered any of a camper.
Because she's pretty.
Yeah, when you think about like travelling on the road, the first thing that comes to mind, it's the first like merchandise you see in any shop wherever we've been around the world. It's always a VW. It's like synonymous with the lifestyle.
And I don't want a big camper. I don't let you get so much more space, but I would sacrifice the space for having the kind of manoeuvrability of the small one.
We've made her quite cosy. 2 people and a cat quite happily in here. We haven't bludgeoned one of us to death yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Your turn.
What's it like travelling with a cat? Horrific. It is. You can do this one first.
I can do that one first. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
We have 2 cats back in England who, luckily, we managed to get someone to look after them during the trip. But we in our entire sort of relationship, we've kind of had cats around.
It's odd not having a cat.
Yeah, having Amy now, I couldn't imagine being on the road without her. Like when we take her to the vets and we had a spayed and she wasn't in the van for the morning.
It's really
it felt
weird.
really
You open
empty.
the door and you're like, oh, careful of the. Oh, there's no cat.
It is hard work.
Yeah, she can be.
She can be hard work.
Pain, but then she's a pain because she needs something.
Yeah, she's adapted to the life as well, and she doesn't
likes
like
travelling. She doesn't like being
She doesn't
in one
like big
place.
cities. She likes to explore.
And she likes moving. If you stay in one place too long, she's like.
Now, Amy was recently in the newspaper, wasn't she?
She was.
Because of it was a bit of a sensationalist headline, but they were talking about her injury in Baja, and there's a lot of comments about that, saying, why do they let them out? They should be keeping her safe.
Oh, yeah, we're irresponsible because we let our cat get hurt.
But
wow.
she's an animal first and foremost, and she wants to be outside to explore. Now we do everything we can to keep her safe, and even when we're in the safest spot, we can't help but worry about her safety and her
and
needs.
we don't let her out in like big cities or on roads and stuff, but you can't have a cat and keep it locked in a tiny little space like this.
Yeah, and that was the most unfortunate accident because we were saying goodbye to a friend in the family's garden. It was all fenced bar, one little section, and she got in and it happened, and accidents do happen. But
I mean, you can say, oh, well, you shouldn't have a cat then, but you look at plenty of people who own them in houses, domestic roads, cats get hit on the road all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a sad thing about having a pet, and we did everything to limit that we could.
Yeah.
But
and I wouldn't change having her for a single
ultimately,
day.
if we hadn't rehomed her, then she might have been burnt alive. So I think this risk is a fair.
Like to keep the conversation on a happy note.
Just saying, though. Just saying, it's
no,
true.
we've provided her a loving home. Right, final one. What is the worst thing about van life?
You putting your feet on that box.
That's not van life though, that's me.
It's you in the van.
Okay, now the foot's off. What is the worst thing about van life?
Getting problems with the van. Like, big problems.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't
depressing.
even have a different answer. Mine would be major problems with the camper. It's the money strain, it's the mental strain, it's the energy strain, everything. It happens when it happens. If it happens in quick succession, it's really hard to keep yourself motivated.
Yeah, it's really stressful, and sometimes if you're in a country where it's hard to source the parts, or you don't speak the language, and then you have the additional stress of that alongside the fact that your home is broken and you're stuck somewhere probably that you don't want to be stuck in.
I mean, we're quite lucky.
We have been lucky.
We've got a lot of tools with us, and obviously your skills, so a lot of the problems we've been able to avoid or fix fairly quickly.
We get somewhere, which is okay to be, but yeah, that's got to be the worst thing easily.
Yeah, as you will see in our future Baja and Mexico episodes, we have faced some major issues with our engine, and it was very tough at times. But yeah, all I can recommend is you just got to keep finding some strength and keep carrying on, because this life is amazing.
Yeah, and be proactive, and if you think there's a problem, try and do it before it's a really bad problem that takes you off the road. Since we've had some bad issues, we have ordered a few more things, or if we think something is not how we want it. We try and get something first, so if it goes, we can just swap it, because a lot of the problem is waiting.
We haven't always been like that, and some of the problems we have suffered is due to laziness and being like, it will be okay, we'll leave it a little bit longer.
Yeah, and it's not okay.
No. So that is our top 5 questions we get asked. I hope you've enjoyed our van tour, and we look forward to bringing you our future travels in Baja and mainland. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications to keep up to date with our next instalment of our adventure.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
See you soon.